Learning Matters is an exclusive production of the Learning Channel, America's first educational cable network. For more information about Learning Matters or the Learning Channel, write The Learning Channel, 1525 Wilson Boulevard, Roslyn, Virginia, 22209.
This elementary school classroom in East Lansing, Michigan just might be the classroom of the future. It has computers with interactive programs that talk back to kids, a monitor, a VCR, a CD player, a camcorder, and everything is operated by 8-year-olds who produce and publish their own reports on video. But if you look beyond the technology, you discover that the essential ingredient is not machinery, but people. I'm John Merrill. Welcome to Learning Matters. Early morning in East Lansing, Michigan, the beginning of another school day at White Hills Elementary, a public school in a well-to-do part of town. From the outside, White Hills looks like a lot of elementary schools. Inside, it's different. A unique experiment supported by the state of Michigan and several high-tech companies has equipped 2 classrooms with computers, a camcorder, a VCR, a monitor, and a CD player. The computer ties all the technology together, allowing these 3rd graders to create and produce their own multimedia reports.
You can get a videotape, and then when you want to take a still picture of it on the computer, you can click on the mouse when you get there and click it on yes, and then it digitizes the picture for you and it goes on the computer and you can save it and put it on a report.
All right, these 2 boys have completed a project very similar to what you've seen children be doing. In fact, you and I did these, which is on a piece of paper with pictures, with writing, with charts, with drawing, with lettering. They're now going to take these 2 projects and turn them into a multimedia, which means they're going to take the 8mm camera and do taping of their drawings, of their pictures, and of their the total project.
They will make a videotape.
They'll make a videotape. They'll take the videotape then, and they will connect it into this computer.
Okay.
And it is loaded with storyboard program. They will digitize their images.
So that means they can pick the images they want.
Transfer them right onto the disc, onto the computer. And then it'll all be on the computer. Then they will go back and we will add sound.
Sounding narrative, music?
We're going to put some music background there with the compact disc, which also will feed into the computer, and the computer will also capture sound. They will then read over the sound, their text, the things that they wrote. They'll read it. And then all of that will then be connected with the VCR, and it'll be transferred to a videotape, which they can then take home and share with their family.
Jacqueline Killingsworth is the 3rd grade teacher in the classroom selected to experiment with multimedia. She's a veteran of 29 years in the classroom, so the steady stream of adult visitors doesn't faze her. Mrs. Killingsworth believes in cooperative learning, students working together in groups of 4 or 5 and learning from each other. She's found that multimedia demands that kind of cooperation.
No youngster is going to set out on this task and complete it by himself or herself. They may get the visual ready, they may get their maps, their charts, text ready. They need at least 2 other people, just as technicians, to help them produce their report. And they're going to have to go on teams to get these things done.
It's teamwork.
It's teamwork or it won't work.
Mrs. Killingsworth believes that her students will learn as much, perhaps more, working cooperatively in multimedia as they would have in the old way.
They are writing everything that they have. When they produce something, part of it has to be in written form first. The same as TV journalists. Everything has to be written first before they do any videotaping or before they do any audio taping.
Mrs. Killingsworth says that the 50 hours of training she received during the summer taught her several important lessons.
The thing that the training probably did is I learned how to learn, and I learned how to figure this out, and I learned that I needed other people. So these youngsters see that behavior modeled all the time.
One person Jacqueline Killingsworth turns to, as does everybody interested in multimedia, is Fred DiGnazia, the inspirational force behind the East Lansing project and the director of the state's Teacher Explorer Center.
I feel that the primary problem in learning right now and teaching is motivation. you take a child who, like a fish, swims outside the classroom door through a sea of electronic media. And then you take that same fish and you enter the threshold of the classroom, you come into the classroom and shut the door, and all of that sea of media dries up. And instead you're in a room, pretty bare, not all that stimulating the higher we get in our grade level, and all you're doing is listening to spoken talk or text and then reading text. So it's like beaching a fish on a dry, arid shore.
My name's Amanda McGinnis, and I did the eastern section of Taiwan.
These fifth graders are showing their classmates their multimedia report on Taiwan. Just by pressing a button, they can go to any part of the report. This cooperatively produced project, A Trip to Another Land, is what Fred D'Ignazio believes all students will be doing in what he calls the classroom of tomorrow. Teachers in Michigan get their training in multimedia here in the Teacher Explorer Center. It's actually just 2 small rooms in East Lansing High, but it's a techie's dream. $1.6 million worth of the finest equipment, nearly all of it loaned to the center by more than 30 companies, including IBM and Sony Showcase. In addition, the Teacher Center has a grant of $100,000 in state funds. Now in its second year, the center has already trained thousands of teachers. On most days, including this one, roughly 20 teachers and administrators come to the center for a 6-hour workshop, led by Sharon Goth-Chu, the administrative director, and Fred D'Ignazio.
Let me explain. Linkway, like HyperCard, has certain avenues in it, like sub-programs, so you can go off into a word processor. You can go off into a paint program. You can go into essentially this type of screen, which is essentially point a button and click. It's like a control panel, and it does things for you, like go into a word processor, go into a paint program, or launch a laser disc segment. If you just say, oh, well, here's a computer, you're kind of scared of it, I know you have really low self-esteem, you feel you'll break it if you push the wrong button, but you're only going to hold it temporarily because, see, we wanted you to give this to your children and let them do stuff. Well, that's a very incorrect model. The teacher often is not, goes, oh no, if my kids have this, the classroom's out of control, they'll start doing things, it's a nuisance, it's a hassle, I have to learn all this stuff. And I found those are the computers that end up in the closets with the cobwebs, underutilized, or perhaps used for something not intimidating like drill and practice, some rote mathematics or arithmetic drill. So what we've got to do is respect the teacher's intelligence and respect their childlike creativity and potential, and we've got to turn them on.
Now I feel slighted, Cookie. Your hand's on his shoulder, not...
Oh, okay.
Cookie! Come on! Keep your tongue in your mouth.
Your conviction that you need one computer, one workstation for every kid, is there an ideal ratio?
Yes, it's a myth that every kid needs a computer. In fact, it's like something out of 1984, our Brave New World, to put each kid plugged into, they become cyborgs, and you're focusing their primary attention, their primary reaction with machines. This kid's going to spend the day plugged into this electronic classroom where they're like a cog, like a plug going into a socket. You take the kid, plug them into this electronic classroom, they spend their whole day interacting with a machine. I'm not for that. I think that, and that's going to cost a lot. These electronic stations for a whole classroom cost $100,000. Then you need like a $20,000 technician just to be there to service it. So rather, I see a future much more where the teacher's at the center and where kids are encouraged to interact with each other. And the moment of learning takes place by human beings interacting with each other and helping each other learn.
Take one last careful look, because you're looking at the future of schooling, or at what could be the future of schooling if we choose. Sure, there are unanswered questions about multimedia. Will it be distributed fairly to rich kids and poor kids alike? It should be. Does it produce results? What do we mean by results? Higher test scores? Kids and teachers who actually like being in school? Or capable, productive young people who know how to learn, know how to think, and know how to work together, like the kids you met on this program? For Learning Matters, I'm John Merrow. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.